tell you what, feels good to take that thing off. So right now I'm actually in Abu Dhabi because tomorrow I've got a shoot for the next few days for work. So I've managed to wrangle it so I'm taking a few extra days leave at the end of the week. Really excited to be getting out here in the Persian Gulf, doing something that's been set on my shirt for a long time and finally actually doing it. Diving everywhere and diving some new places. Look at that gorgeous water. A few more days, I'll be out in and amongst that. We are heading up to Dubai to actually do some diving with Kory. Just visited the Grand Mosque, like nothing I've ever seen before. Highly recommend it if you're ever in Abu Dhabi, but time to hit the road. Oh, still getting used to this car. The drive between Abu Dhabi and Dubai is just over an hour, not long at all.
Yeah,
hi.
The man.
Hello, Kory.
How are you?
I'm good, but jeez, look at your tan, mate.
Yeah, you'll get one of these.
The next day, Kory showed us around his place. He lives in a beachfront oasis where we went snorkeling, then into town to do some touristy things like getting lost in Dubai Mall, which is the size of a small country, see the massive aquarium inside, ogle over the giant gilt-head sea bream inside of the aquarium, and then check out the Dubai fountain, where we saw Richard Branson casually walking around.
We're all set, all of the gear is in the car. We've got a nice big juicy watermelon.
Just need some fish.
Just need some fish, mate. What's the fish you want, Dan?
I think the fish that I want the most is one of those 2-bar bream. Thank you. That's easy, mate. Kory had mentioned it was a decent boat we were going out on, but I had never been out on a boat this size with so many ponies on the back. That's a proper boat, mate. Look at the size of it.
This is the whip. Yes, mate.
There's a big whip, boys. I always like it when people back themselves by bringing 50 kilograms of ice on a single day spearfishing trip. I was pretty nervous about the fuel bill with triple 350 supercharged Verados on the back of this boat. Luckily, petrol in the UAE is pretty cheap compared to other places in the world. Quick fuel stop for an extra 150 litres of fuel and we were on our way. And quickly too.
We're definitely going.
So I think we're just about to head onto a wreck. A wreck, is that right? We're on a tugboat wreck looking for cobia and king mackerel.
King mackerel and maybe some small jacks, snappers.
Good little warm up to 19 meters for the day.
You gotta start somewhere.
Have to start somewhere. Let's get into it. I don't usually like using a spear gun that's not mine, but I had no choice on this trip but to borrow Kory's roller. To be fair, I only missed one fish all day with it in the end. The most important thing about spearfishing is looking cool. If you don't catch anything, at least you look cool, right? Our boat driver Omar put us on the exact right spot. As I got closer to the wreck, I recognised a fish I'm very familiar with in Australia, the mangrove jack. I knew that this fish was going to head straight for the wreck. With a double wrap of shooting line, it got a good head start before I could even attempt to put any pressure on this fish. Even when I did, the Dyneema shooting line was super slippery and it was like trying to grip an icicle. I was so thankful for the help I received from Nadeem.
That's as big as they get here.
Oh, it's been so many years since I shot one of them.
That's pretty much as big as they get. Well done.
Oh, thank you. Mate, that reel line is so slippery. Nadeem and Kory had added a few trevally to the stringer, so we decided to head on to the next wreck. Straight onto ice, just how it should be. With the air temperature being around 30 degrees and the water temperature being 23 degrees, I was roasting in my 5mm wetsuit. Hydration when spearfishing is absolute key. The shipwrecks here are in such good condition. Most of the wrecks I've dived before in the UK and Australia have been beaten and battered down by the weather over decades, but these are really fresh. I was told the orange spotted trevallies were fantastic to eat, so I didn't hesitate picking one of the larger fish from the shoal. current was starting to pick up and we moved to a nearby wreck. I missed the top of the wreck, but I ended up landing a little bit down to the side of it. It all worked out actually, as I saw the fish I really wanted on this trip and it was swimming straight towards me. Again, not a great shot, but it did the job for me. It looks exactly like one of the bream we get in Australia, but it's got just these turbo yellow fins. Gorgeous looking fish. I wanted one before I came here. Even though it's the smallest in the icebox, I'm still very happy. The wreck hopping continues.
So many barracuda here. There's permits between them, big permits.
Kory didn't waste a second and headed down chasing one of those permits, or as we call them in Australia, snub-nosed dart.
Pompano.
You got a permit for that?
Lovely fish. I got a good shot on it, so I didn't have to fight him too much. Yeah, stunned it, and just swimming up and over the wreck, I did a turn, and he was just behind me, so got a nice shot. And then I grabbed it and then sunk down onto the wreck, and just had a little look around.
I'm not sure that it's possible to have too much ice on your fish, especially in the Middle East. Nadine mentioned that this wreck was one of the bigger ones they dived, so I could not wait to get down there and check it out. That isn't the seafloor, that's me gliding down the bottom of the ship's hull. Then this friendly aquatic reptile came to say hello. That school of barracuda was still milling about above the wreck. There were some specimens in there that I think would have been over 15 kilograms, but there was no way I was going to shoot one given their reputation for attacking divers once they have been speared. Now that we were sufficiently warmed up and diving well, it was time to head out onto a deep wreck in search of amberjacks. Despite the wreck being 10 miles away, we were there in no time at all.
I mean, it's a spot that's in 35 meters of water. There's a wreck over here, and there's a lot of amberjack that sit on top of the wreck. Hopefully they'll be quite high up, and we're going to see if we can get a few of them.
I just really hope that my amberjack doesn't get stuck on the bottom, because I'm not going down that deep. I dived about 15 seconds after Kory, and when I raised my head up to look around, I could see he was fighting something big. It was a battle trying to keep the amberjack off the wreck, but also trying to get back to the surface safely. I was desperately trying not to let this fish have too much line. The last thing I wanted was it tangled on the bottom of that wreck in 36 meters of water. Once again, the slippery reel line was making it nearly impossible to gain any line on this fish.
Oh, this reel line is so slippery. Oh, it's terrible. Who gets a reel with line like this?
I could see that my shaft had torn through the head of the fish and was only holding in the gill area. I was desperate to drive the shaft back through the fish as I could see one of the floppers hanging out.
Is that a bad amberjack? Maybe 10 kilos? I just shot the closest one.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. It's nice to eat.
An Emirati amberjack.
Kory, this is what you promised me out here. And
Did it, mate?
you've delivered.
Some solid fish.
Hey,
Nice AJs.
you dived first, and then I saw you struggling with something. They all just swam up to me. I just took the closest one. Super stoked with that. Some Emirati amberjacks.
Cheers.
Mate, thank you for taking me out and sorting this entire dive out. We had a few more drops on this wreck, and the boys added a few more amberjacks to the icebox. By now we were all pretty knackered and headed to the last wreck of the day. A wreck that is known to hold Spanish mackerel, or as they call them here, kingfish. That is a strange looking barracuda. I opted for the safe shot between the dorsal and anal fins. With no guarantee of if my shot had completely gone through the fish, I didn't want to play it too hard, and I didn't want to get spooled without a belt reel as a backup. It can be a delicate balance when shooting big fish on a reel gun.
Shot the mackerel. Yeah.
We finally caught up to the fish, and Nadeem went down to check my shot. He couldn't see the other side of the fish, so to be safe, he added a second shot. Suddenly, the mackerel found a second wind.
I didn't get a great shot, but it's a holding shot.
You really want to avoid the business end of any mackerel. Grab the tail first and then slide your hands into the gills. Or in this case, use your legs as well.
Awesome. There you go. Yeah, not a bad one at all.
I think he's going 10 for sure.
Yeah, he's over 10. He's fat.
I finally got one! An Emirati kingfish! After diving wrecks all day and seeing a couple of little fish, we got some nice trevally. Kory showed us what's up with the amberjacks. Tried one little sneaky wreck that Nadeem had. And this one came over through the barracuda and I just went for the safe shot. Haven't shot a mackerel like this in at least 3 or 4 years. It's awesome.
I feel like a penguin.
Kory and Nadeem jumped back in to see if there were any more mackerel. What happened next though was absolutely insane.
This is crazy. Nadeem shot a fish.
I love you, man!
I don't know what happened. But
That's what happened. Look at the muzzle wrap.
Oh, you got a muzzle wrap.
That's what happened. I got a muzzle wrap. I kept on trying to undo the muzzle wrap, and I said, you know what? Not worth it.
Bro,
I let go of the gun.
I saw this fish flying through. I didn't even know it was already shot. So I just took the shot, went for a headshot, and then all hell broke loose. And I saw I had a gun flying around attached to it.
I've shot an amberjack with a gun attached to it.
Nice AJ, bro.
It's a nice thing. It came out of nowhere. I went down following a permit, so I didn't even breathe up. And then this thing came up.
Well done, man.
I'm done for the day.
Mate, lucky.
I'm done.
That was lucky.
Couldn't be more stoked on this. Thank you very much for taking us out.
Thank you.
And everybody else that's helped us along this trip. Trip I'll never forget. Thank you.
Good one. And I gotta thank you for getting my gun back.
And I need to go to the
That's
gym.
his fish.
I need to go to the gym.
Yeah.
England's making me weak with the small fish.
Well done,
Well
man.
done. Well done.
Well done.
Dinner time! We all agreed that we'd used up all our luck for the day, so we decided before anything worse could happen to head back in and get some dinner. A massive thank you must go to Omar for driving the boats for us all day long. It's been a very long time since I've handled a mackerel, and I was left with a stark reminder about why you want to avoid the teeth on them. However, I'd be smiling every time I looked at these cuts back in London for the following weeks. It was incredible to be able to stay with you, Kory. Thank you so much for your generosity and hospitality. If you want a personal trainer in Dubai, he is the man to speak to. While I was down in Abu Dhabi as well, I went along to a pool training session with some of the spearfishers down there after I got invited on Instagram. Will and Abdullah welcomed me and my colleague and showed us some of the real UAE lifestyle. Abdullah took us to his camel farm where we saw the show camels, milked camels, ate camel, and hung out with his family and friends well into the evening, talking all things Emirati history, culture, and of course, spearfishing. I can't thank everybody enough for helping me out on this trip, especially my colleague Lara who filmed out on the boat all day. It was an incredible trip and I hope to be back in the United Arab Emirates very soon.